All right, there we are. Welcome to Small Business Social, the podcast where we celebrate makers, dreamers, and doers building big things in their communities. I'm Kara Varikis.
I'm Steve Seymour.
And we're here to shine a light on small business owners and experts who inspire us all. Today, we're sitting down with Taylor and Jeff Martone, who are the co-founders of Daydream Made. They specialize in curated collections of handmade gifts created by the blending of craftsmanship and technology with artistic expression.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm so
Thank
excited to have you
you.
both here.
We're so excited too.
So tell everyone who's listening in a little bit about yourselves, what you guys do. You guys have full-time jobs. How we're going to dig into all of the things small business, but just tell everyone who you are, what you guys are up to.
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you go first?
Well, I'm Taylor Martone. I am one half of Daydream Made with my husband. We are from Vernon. We've got a little one who's our world, our Lila Bug. She's 3, and she's really been around through the entire journey of this. It started when I was on maternity leave. Had a little bit of extra time, oddly enough, but in weird hours.
I was going to say, what are you talking
You
about?
find time in like 1 a.m.
Okay.
Like pockets.
Yeah.
But also just like my brain was able to kind of think differently during that time. I teach full time.
Oh, you do? What do you teach?
I do. I teach 5th grade now. I spent about a decade
What
in
subject?
3rd grade. Elementary school, so I teach everything.
Oh, everything,
I
okay.
specialize in math, so I teach math to both cohorts in my school. We're a tiny school in Vernon, but I also teach reading and SEL and all that stuff too. I just don't touch the writing piece, so everything but writing.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, so I did that full time, or I do that full time, and that was the first time in over a decade that I've had like just a little bit of a longer break from it and kind of got to explore some other things, which was what kind of how this all started. But he came along and joined forces, and we'll probably get to like different roles we play.
Yes.
But otherwise, you also work full time.
Yeah, so I also work full time as it's like silly titles, but a business analyst at a large hospital. And I don't know, I feel like kind of like we all do for even like here, I wear many hats, but I think like the big part is like the data analytics at work. But my favorite part is kind of the process improvement, workflow optimization, which is kind of, I don't know, it feels the longer we do it, like the more relevant it is to the business. And
Sure.
it's
Like
the fun part.
streamlining? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
More streamlining stuff. Okay.
And I mean, working full time, right? Everyone has to be efficient with their day, but it really is like, we get maybe 2 hours a night to work on things after bedtime.
Right.
And at this point, because we've been successful and we want to keep growing, it's how can we make the most of that without really killing ourselves. So like I said, like those are the problems like I like to be able to work on and solve.
So I think that's so cool. And I definitely want to dive more into those efficiencies that Taylor's been talking about, you guys have been doing. But first, I want to kind of showcase and talk a little bit more about the different products you guys specialize in, and so that our listeners can both either see or hear more about what you guys are doing. And then I definitely want to dive deeper into that because I think as a small business, that is clutch and it's so important to hit on.
For sure.
So go ahead. I don't want to.
Yeah. So we kind of started off in a different place than we are now. It was always rooted in like artistic expression and finding a way to share art with other people. That was my thing. I am not a trained artist by any means. I have absolutely zero training or formal learning experiences. I was the person during COVID watching YouTube videos, learning how to paint.
YouTube University.
That's it, right? As many people were, like discovering hobbies through 2020 and had that, again, extra time on our hands. And so I've always been like a creative person and an artistic person, but I am not necessarily trained in that.
Yeah.
And so when we first started the company, it was actually Taylor Martone Art because it was just meant to be my Instagram page to share things I was making. And he's like, "Oh, you're going to do it again. You're going to make an Etsy page. This is,
Well, we should
this is
talk-
happening."
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that. I mean, we and you, we had I would go brave and say a quite successful Etsy business.
Oh, you're going back.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about,
No, we did. We had
the
experience.
story
Yeah.
is-
Yeah.
Well, one, we met each other working together at school.
At UConn.
So
Yep.
Oh, really?
It's
Go
right from
Huskies.
the beginning. Yes, exactly. And through school. I mean, honestly, Taylor put herself through school with the Etsy business.
Wow.
That's amazing.
You could
and-
teach
That's
me a few
like
things.
that's applaud
Thank you.
worthy. That's
Yeah, no
awesome.
kidding.
And I mean, honestly, that really only ended because kind of the tides were changing, but also because you started.
I started
working.
teaching. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It went from, I had worked up to being a teacher, right? I spent my time 6 years in school
felt
getting
like,
this. I'm
you
like,
gotta
okay, I
do
want to
it.
focus on it.
Yeah.
So
And
kinda
there's
switched
probably
gears.
benefits too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
you
the
know.
biggest thing with me.
Right.
Thing.
And it's like the biggest paycheck I had ever seen at that point, right out
Oh,
of college
sure.
and making
Right.
decent, real adult money.
Adult.
Decent,
love
we'll
that.
say.
Yes.
um, but no, we sold stickers actually, specifically for planners and organizers, and they were ways to take boring black and white day planners, weekly spread planners, and decorate them. And they were functional, but also decorative. People could theme their weekly spread with different colors, patterns, or also like occasions. And it's kind of like a mix between like bullet journaling, if you've heard of that, and scrapbooking, but also planning. So
That's so
to-do
cool.
lists and what do I need to get done today. So we did that. We sold sticker kits specifically on Etsy. I ended up like traveling to Nashville for the conference in this
Really?
world. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wow.
I'm in the wrong business.
It is a whole thing. But yeah, it phased out slowly, kind of like you said, tides were kind of shifting. Bigger corporations were picking up these ideas. Michaels, I love Michaels and everything, but Joann's and Michaels and all the big guys, big names, they were starting to sell the same
Yeah, well,
concept.
look at them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's true. Michaels is still standing. That's
Yeah.
the sole survivor right now. But yeah, no, they did. They picked it up, and for a while, they were actually showcasing some of the people that I knew nationwide,
Oh wow.
which was really cool. But it really did dilute the market, and
Sure.
so between that and starting teaching, it was time to kind of cut ties with that. But to tie things in, the business name was Daydream Planning, and we are now Daydream Made.
I didn't realize that.
and so there was
it
a bit
all
of-
kind of, and I'll take credit for that
You-
connection.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just a full circle.
because I really liked the
No, he
name
did.
back
He brought it
then.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I, not to be a naysayer, but I was always kind of like Taylor Matar, like it's
It's a big thing to stick your name on
it
it.
is a
Yeah,
big
and
thing
it's
to
not
stick
necessarily
your
a
name on it.
brand.
But I think though it's like, all right, like why did we change the name? You know, to talk about that is I feel like the uniqueness of our business is kind of like exactly like what is it?
Yeah.
And this kind of gives us a little bit of the freedom to not pigeonhole us into, we just do this because, I think that's part of the fun is exploring and figuring out where
Finally,
things go.
smart thinkers.
And-
Don't pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah.
And chasing trends isn't the right way to say it, but it's to kind of figure out what is interesting, what can we work on that's fun for us, and that we can put our unique spin on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think we really started to kind of hone in on who our target audience was and who our market was and who our go-to customer looks like and what they would want. And in a lot of ways, I share commonalities with that common customer. So like when I'm at a market, what am I looking for and what am I stopping and
To think
saying,
like my wife.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the products that we do sell do have elements of either trends that are going on right now or stuff, but we're not just, throwing our name on it and making a quick buck. We're really trying to find a way to say, first of all, if this product matches our market and will reach our audience, can we do it in a way that we think is better than what we've seen out there or at least like the quality that we would want to put out? And if we do, like, how do we put our spin on it? How do we make sure it still stays within our brand? Our brand often features a lot of colors. It started with pastels. It's kind of branched a little bit out of that, more like he brings in the brights. It's kind of funny. He's actually like the
I
bright guy.
try to sneak,
He's like,
sneak
yeah,
in a
that,
little bit.
like super bright blue car in the parking lot.
What avenue do you guys find more profitable? Like, where do you make most of your sales?
Yeah. So right now, by far, the biggest product has been our blind date with a book, which is
That like
right
online
here.
sales or?
Oh, like so honestly, we have, I'd say about, I don't know, 50% probably comes from the Bristol Bazaar.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's been super consistent and steady for us and really has kind of changed the path for what we do. And then we do markets, we do pop-up events, but we've been able to thankfully kind of reel that into just ones that we find to be successful and meet, like they're the ones that are going to draw in the people that want our stuff.
Right. Right.
And worth our time because our time with our daughter is precious and being able to get some of that back has been
It's
a big
huge.
deal. We have some online sales, but we're kind of working right now on finding ways to.
It's still the untapped
Yeah.
opportunity. And I
It's tough.
humbly
It
admit
is tough.
It
It's,
is.
shockingly difficult
Yeah.
today. I mean, we not to go back again, but like with the Etsy stuff, like it felt easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It felt like easy. It felt like we knew what we were doing, but like this is a little bit. And maybe that's
Yeah.
sometimes like I don't know. It's but
Bigger scale? Is that what
bigger
you're saying?
Yeah.
scale and the whole marketing and all of that is just kind of a interesting. It's just
I
a
know,
very
right?
interesting and with all due respect, I a whole new appreciation of like why it is a skill in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
sure.
And it's a whole different time too.
Yeah.
You know, it's however many years between now and when you guys were doing that on Etsy. Etsy has shifted so much in how
Right.
they look at algorithms and
Exactly.
advertising dollars and stuff like that, you know, for good and for bad.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different world out there. So online selling is really hard.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And I think we make a lot of our success in person because I like to think that our brand and our products stop people to at least look.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have good conversion rates and that's awesome. But like we're at least catching people's eye with something.
Right.
And so it's like even like we take these books, like they're wrapped, they're used
Those
books.
are beautiful. You show them to the
thank you,
camera there.
yeah. But we do. We have they are like new books. They're most of them are actually
Most of
brand
them are
new
new, yeah.
books. But we don't want to ever be misleading. So like
Mhm.
new is the term we go with. And inside of it, you'll find that book. But then on the cover, you find the genres, the subgenres, the Goodreads rating, and any other like additional notes. Like if it's signed by the author, that's on there.
Oh, so
If-
is there a title of the book?
No title.
No.
You don't get
So
to
it's a
decide.
surprise.
You get to,
Yeah.
You guys are
It's a
geniuses.
surprise. So it's blind date with a book. It's literally you don't know what you have until you unwrap
What's
it.
that on the side there?
Comes with everything here. So this is a dual-sided highlighter.
I
It's
learned this.
specifically an annotating highlighter,
she
so
might
it
have
doesn't
you.
bleed
I
through
I think she's got you
pages.
beat on that.
And then it comes with our different stickers and accessories. We tie in our brand. The floral elements are in almost everything we sell, and so that's on there. Jeff's 3D printing, which we'll talk about kind of the
Yes.
the
I-
mesh of
I
things.
want to get into that. We may have to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
The bookmarks are completely made by him, so they're 3D printed. So the accessories and all that, you know, you can either pick your book based on the genres that are calling you, the vibes that are calling you, the colors. But it's really
That
hard to
is
replicate
awesome.
the visual experience of this in person
Yes.
online.
Yes.
And so
How'd you
to-
find the packaging? The brown?
it's just craft paper rolls that are
Yep.
that I wrap.
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, remember when you used to wrap? Well,
It
you're probably
is
too
not
young.
easy
No, I
to
would wrap
I
books.
wrap, yeah,
Were you
yeah.
too young to wrap your
with
school
your
books?
wife.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
it-
No,
That
it's
was
fun.
the
Yes.
best. That was the
I feel like you
best
just
thing.
triggered a.
But
kind
that's
of a-
that's like that on steroids, though.
Yeah.
That's the best time, you know, because
Yeah.
you can make it your own.
You can.
But that right there is like
Yeah.
very, very, very
Yeah, no.
impressive.
Thank you.
We
thank
get
you.
multiple people too that it's just sitting on my shelf and it's just because it's
They
so
won't
pretty.
open
I'll
it.
They
open it
won't.
one
No.
day.
They'll
Like,
just
I
sit there
promise
and
you can
collect
open.
them.
Yeah. Open it. Come back for another one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please, please.
But no, it is. It's speaking of like why online's hard. It's, you know, you take something like this that in person is like, oh, what is that? Or like, oh, that looks
Yeah.
pretty. Or, you know, all the colors along the lines. If you're like me and visual, like you want to stop and look at the pretty things.
Well, and I was
But-
I'm a people watcher too, so you know it's just fun to watch people just flip.
I
through
said
and
people like
just
to
pick
touch
things up.
them.
and
Which
it is,
ones?
They do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and it's just like it's like well, why do we do in-person events? Because like it is like
Oh,
it is a
yeah.
thing. You know, people
Yeah.
really do enjoy it. you
Yeah.
know.
So we're working on some ideas behind the scene of how to like replicate that experience that's like feels customized and one of a kind, but online. But it's our current challenge.
No, I like it. It's got depth to it. It's got colors. It's very attractive. I mean,
Thanks.
It's the literally.
I
the
want to
most
rip one of those
perfect
bad
gift.
boys
Oh,
open
yeah.
right
I will
now.
give a plug too. It's like you talk about like, all right, well, like, this isn't our unique idea, right? But talking about our unique spin on it, it's like, okay, we work very hard to like digitize it in a way.
And that's what I was hoping you were going to dive into.
Well,
Yeah.
it's always shocking and it's nice because I'm like, I was right. So with
Yeah.
customers, there's certain circumstances when they want to know whether it's a sensitive situation or they're
Oh,
giving
that's
it as
true.
a gift to big reader. So like with the code, you can go and just look to see if you want exactly what it is.
Which is
So
huge.
if people have a question about like, is it this one? I don't want this. We could even look it up and still keep it as a secret. So like
Yep.
to me, like that's the secret sauce.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
it's all
great.
it's all in a
too.
database that we
Yeah.
have, and on his end of things, he'll scan in the book from its typical
Yep.
code, and then it will generate some current out there suggestions of like possible tags, themes, genres.
Mhm.
But he really has to manually
Little
go in and
AI
kind of
thrown into the
tailor
mix, yeah.
each little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
To make sure that like it makes sense to the consumer, and
Right.
it's like, oh, I know.
And
what
even that it's
that's gonna be.
presented in a way that seems interesting. You know,
Mhm.
it's very, people like, oh, have you read all these books? And it's just,
I wish.
and it's like, I
Right?
really wish, because even I'm like, you process all these books, you're like, that one looks good. That one looks good. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, it's gone.
Yeah.
Or my time has been spent wrapping more books,
How
not
long does
reading
it
them.
actually take you to make one of those? What's
So,
the average time?
It's really hard to say specifically at this point because now I'm making them in batches. So we are to talk to
You have a little
streamline-
sweatshop
under
going
5
on with your
minutes.
kids?
It's under 5 minutes for sure, but
It
yeah.
is. We should almost
5
show
minutes,
pictures for
really?
this. I think it's under 5 minutes a book.
Oh, for sure now.
Yeah.
You guys have a sweatshop, don't
No,
you?
but-
And your daughter's involved, isn't she?
Well, it'd be kind of even like we talk about live streaming. You're like, I don't know, like it's almost kind of like watch Jeff and Taylor in their basement with the
making
lights,
books.
making books. And, like it's a real. To talk about that is we set up the basement.
Yeah.
So we used to be hunched over the
Oh.
Living room
table, and we're like our backs are killing us from
Yeah.
it, but we set up the basement with standing desks.
I was just going to
proper
say, standing
lighting.
desks are
Exa-
amazing.
And,
Yep.
Taylor begrudgingly accepted the warehouse shelving we have in our basement just to try and kind of keep things organized. But it's made a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we can have people over and not,
You can
to
have a light.
disregard
Stuff. Our upstairs, our
stairs
main living
everywhere.
floor is not taken up necessarily by
Yeah.
this. But our basement is almost entirely dedicated to
Wow.
the business now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll make them in like batches of 100 usually.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to gauge timing specifically. And like we've done things that make things faster. Like I'm
Sure.
finding
And you
tips and
learn.
tricks, and you learn.
It's the scaling thing again,
Yeah.
like where we're not talking about we're going to make 10 books. It's how are we going to make hundreds, and how can we
Right.
do it efficiently? And I feel like that's last year got really overwhelming with we're so fortunate with the success, but like it really was like pedal to the metal, like just trying to hold on.
Sure.
But I'll say here, I feel like we'll be in a more prepared situation
Because of those systems.
I bet so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
invested.
I
in
mean,
it.
quite literally, I was scanning a book on my phone on Goodreads to then research the book's synopsis and tags from other readers and then handwrite the list of them after it was wrapped
Mhm.
for every single book, not knowing it was going to need me to be producing, hundreds.
Right. plural.
And I'm like, okay. So now this is awesome because
Yep.
we had the label prints out, and there's still labor involved in that, but it's a streamlined process for sure.
right.
So
It's
yeah.
still certainly a handmade
Oh,
product.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I
know.
pick out every detail that goes on it specifically for it.
Mhm.
We try to like match the vibes of the book with the stickers you get. Spicy ones,
It's fun.
thrillers,
It's fun.
creepy ones. Like there's a little bit
Yeah.
everything.
It's fun.
Being a couple, do you guys have any problems? Have you ever run into any problems?
Never.
Well, you
No.
never
No,
know.
of
Sometimes.
course.
Yeah.
I think-
I'll defer to my wife.
Whether it's
Answer the
whether it's
question
like
first.
decorate, the design of it or
Yeah.
anything like
Well,
that.
I think it's good to talk about what the division of labor is.
Yeah.
I
We
mean, I think-
defer to each other's expertise.
For sure. I mean, I could not, with my skill set, create the database that he's created
Okay.
to be able to produce this stuff. I
Mhm.
would not know the first thing. I'm learning, but I would have no idea where to start. And I think when it comes to like finding the creative ideas, like you were like, even when we first started this last year in May, you're like, I
was
don't
an
know.
naysayer.
Like I don't
I
get
was
it.
an- I
That's
was
fair.
a
Like I
naysayer, yeah.
don't see how that would be profitable or a product that we could like sustain and so we kind of have those things that balance each other out. But I mean, at this point we're going on season 4 of Markets,
Mhm.
and I think you learn a lot about each other when you're setting up
Yeah.
pop-up tents
Right.
and little mini
Pop-up
stores.
tents, yeah.
And it's specifically how to unfold and pack up a pop-up tent without hurting somebody unintentionally.
What I
Yes,
want
I'm
to know
getting
is
it.
where are the tables going to go, and are we
Mm.
putting up 10 walls or not? That's all I need to know, and I can do everything else. Just give me
But
that.
I mean, at this point, we'll do our setup and like not even speak, but we're communicating in
Not in
other
a
ways.
bad
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not in a hostile way at all. Like just
No, the best way I can
I don't
say
know.
now,
It seems
it's
like you're pretty scared of her, honestly.
but like the best way I could say it's like a roadie, like in a band, like everyone just knows.
Yeah.
like,
You know
this
your
goes
thing,
this
you
and
know
this
what you
goes
do.
there,
For
and-
sure. Yeah.
and,
You know
but
your
You guys
role.
have a machine going.
Yeah.
basically.
And
You guys
I
are
remember the year
well-oiled.
one where you're like, oh, like it takes forever to get set up and
Yeah.
pack up because you don't know what you're doing, and
Right.
it's only now.
Yeah.
I mean, now we just take 2 cars and we just bite the bullet and
yeah.
just deal with it. You know?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's good to feel like we have some experience like under our belts at this point.
Well, and this is like just one part of it too, right?
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
currently these make up about 50% of our sales, which is incredible. and like just amazing, where you never in a million years expected this
Right, what else
to
you got?
take off.
Yeah.
But we do have
So,
a
like,
ton of
again,
other
so
stuff.
the
Oh, you got
example,
more
right,
stuff.
is
You
all
got
the
more
you know,
goodies.
Oh, we got
there's
more.
so many
We got more.
goodies.
Really?
The whole
Yeah.
one of these is
Yeah.
the 3D printed
Let me
stuff.
see that.
So like the my segue into this is like, and where like okay, not that I'm necessarily
Pretty
artistic,
cool.
but like what I enjoy is like playing with toys. Okay,
Mhm.
so like there's a laser
I
engraver.
want to touch this stuff.
There's a
Right,
laser
right.
engraver,
Cool.
and then there's the 3D printers, and then there's all the computer stuff. So like rather I use piggy printing as like the perfect example. Where
Yeah.
I'm like secretly I'm like I would love. I think there's some great people and it's such a cool
Yeah.
thing. I'm like I would love to do something like that, but this is like how I can kind of like bring like what I'm interested
Within the
into.
branding and the
Absolutely.
imaging of our
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were like,
So-
honey, I really want a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Look,
No, it really-
look
it's like,
what I
how
can do
can
for
you-
you.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure a topic, right, is like, you know, not every hobby needs to be monetized and turned into something like that's a certainly a relevant point. But like, you know, if anyone who does 3D printing, like you end up with like a lot of like stuff that like, what are you gonna do with? But like
Right.
this is an excuse to be able to do this. So you know, learning how to do some really basic 3D modeling and kind of
Mhm.
make
You
some
love it.
things.
That is
It's-
cool
Yeah.
stuff,
It's
though.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
How did you
to
get
do.
the clear
So-
part over that?
So
What is
these
that?
are our trinket dishes. We
Yeah.
sell them in a variety of like sizes, styles,
So, yeah,
colors.
like-
We'll
Right, you
do
could show the
seasonal
camera right
drops.
there.
Yeah,
Clouds
okay.
for kind of that's a little more youthful and fun.
Yep, yep.
In different sizes and shapes, but like it really
Jewelry.
kind of
Yeah.
keeps
Mhm.
the simple
Yeah.
aesthetic. A lot of them are kind of in these like pastel colors of
Matching-
some
they match the branding.
multi-color
Mhm.
things. But and again, it all has the floral elements.
Everything has floral elements. It's all real pressed flowers in there.
They
They're
are
real
real.
dried. Yep, real dried
Mhm.
pressed flowers.
What
and
is that gold in
embellishments.
there? That
The gold
leaf?
is literally gold
Just
leaf
gold leaf
flakes,
It
just
is.
mi-
like
mixed
fake one
in.
stuff.
Yeah.
And some beads we've been playing with, like again, taking something that is trending and on the
Mhm.
market right now, but what makes sense and how does it match what we want to do and what we want to put out into the world too. But there's so many steps. Like these are so simple in concept, but like Jeff 3D prints the bases after he models the majority of the
Yep.
designs that we have himself.
Mhm.
So then we have to, create them in bulk for just the first part. There's nothing in them. They're not filled.
Right.
So, like,
And
let's
then-
say how
Yeah.
long did that
Yeah,
take?
yeah, you would know that for printing.
So printing, I think it only takes maybe about 20 minutes.
Oh, it's
a
not too
piece
bad.
just
Oh,
to
that's not,
piece,
I
yeah.
remember there was
and we're
much
doing
slower.
it, and you know, we're doing it in big batches
Yeah.
too. So
Well, these guys, like the larger ones and the
Oh, yeah.
more, so.
well, and again, to not to keep jumping around, but like the nice thing with a lot of our stuff and throwing the like the laser engraved stuff in there too is like, yeah, some of it takes a little bit, but most of the time it's hands off.
Right.
You know,
You can
enough
do
of
other
it-
things.
Yeah,
Things
like
are
we're playing with
going-
Lila. We're doing bedtime. We're doing like,
Yeah.
how do
So
you make
it's-
your time
Right.
work?
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So you know, even
But to that point, I'm going to jump in. The arranging of the embellishments, the flowers, the beads, the extra stuff, like
Mhm.
that takes a couple of hours. And then there are 2 coats of resin. We always get
do
people
Oh, that's
saying
what
like,
that
how
is,
clear
resin?
it's resin.
That's what we've learned is the two
The
coats.
2 coats. So the first coat has to cure for over 24
What is it,
hours.
like a run
Right.
thin coat?
Yeah,
Just
basically
thin, just to
like
kind of
paint
lock in all the
glue, like
stuff.
to glue it all down.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. So just to make sure everything kind of stays in its place and its rightful home, and then another
I mean, it looks
layer
flawless.
over.
There's no
It
like
really
bubbles in it
does.
or anything.
I give people who solely do resin so
much
much
credit.
credit because to
Mhm.
to get the no bubbles.
Yeah, I know.
Even to like to get it perfectly so it's not tacky at all. Like it is a lot.
I was trying to
of
figure
work.
out how
Yeah.
you did that. I
It
didn't know
is
what
a
that
lot
was.
of work and with
Yeah.
the tweezers and everything.
Mhm.
But in our basement again, we have a table about this size that
Mhm.
we just load up.
Just fill
Do 'em in
it.
batch.
And
Batches,
Taylor
yeah.
spends about a good hour meticulously
Wow.
placing everything, and then
He'll come in and pour the resin for the first batch. But I
Yep.
mean, you say 20 minutes to print that one piece, but when you're making a table full,
Yeah.
that's a lot of time on the
Hours.
machines and hours and
Yeah.
hours. And then the management of it, like it sounds silly, but the mental, like, okay, the machine's done at this time. Let me
Mhm.
make sure I'm making
this
the
is
most
like
I
that's
can.
the kind of I
Yeah,
love
he,
the-
Yeah.
I don't know what there's a term for it, but like knowing is like the right time to do things in the most efficient
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of
Yeah.
the game that I like to play.
But
Is
from start to finish, that requires a minimum of 3 days.
Yep.
So
Wow.
it's so you're talking and multiple steps along the way. So
Right.
Wow.
yeah,
That's-
because
but again,
And that's very affordable.
yeah,
from all that work.
I know.
For that
yeah.
work.
And I hope people feel like we want to price things that it's worth our time, but again, I think it goes back to like we know who our customer is,
Mhm.
and we some things aren't meant to last forever, and
Right.
not to demean our things in any way, but we want people to be able to feel comfortable buying things, and
Yeah.
it seems like we got that kind of.
Do you guys
dialed in
ever
just
like
right.
personalize anything? If someone
Yeah.
has a
You
request,
actually with
let's
Yeah,
say
we
for
do.
like this, you
So
just
I
a
did-
child, a new kid, or something
Yeah.
like that.
I actually just did 2 big projects this year with these. I did one for a friend of mine, a coworker actually. Her daughter and her daughter's 6 friends were all graduating
Okay. Oh
my
high school and
gosh.
going
That's
off to
cool.
different colleges. And so I made them all their own version.
Oh.
Some matched like the new school colors they're going to. They had their names on all of them. But even though they were each individually unique, they all had one and they kind of had that
That's really
together.
That's awesome.
So that was a really cool, like, personal project. Another one, my principal at my school, she always commissions me to do something for Teacher Appreciation Week, which we love the support. And so we actually made this size one, and the beads said my school's initial, like, acronym. So
that's so
it had
cool.
that. It had some flowers in it, and every single one was unique. And then they were put out in the teachers' lounge, and everyone got to shop for free for their own that matched their style. So we made
Wow.
like 60 something of those
Wow.
Wow.
for my staff, and everyone's got them on their desks for like paper clips and
Oh,
stuff.
sure. Little
and
thumbtacks.
Yeah.
and-
How many 3D printers do you have?
We just have 2, which
I was
Okay, I
gonna
was
ask
saying you
that same
need more than
question.
one at
Yeah.
least.
yeah, no, we just have 2, and it's you guys like could have always have a few more, but you
Yeah.
know, it's just like feels like we got that kind of the right thing.
And it's the
Mhm.
right amount
what
for
we're-
now.
for what we're doing
Exactly.
right
you don't
now.
need to upscale yet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Because
good.
again, like a lot of it is like we have like racks of like blanks of things. So if we're gonna do another batch, it's not like, oh, we have to make all this stuff.
Right.
It's
Well,
already
that's
ready to
good.
go. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
My favorite thing with these though is when in person, I think you can see at the Bristol Bazaar when they're all laid out with the different colors and patterns. Like
Yeah.
it looks really, really cool.
It really
and like
does.
that's something I feel like you've never really seen it that anyone else has set up where it looks so fun and colorful to kind of like explore.
Well, and fun to
look
shop.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your
Yeah.
whole space at the store at the Bristol Bazaar is absolutely beautiful. You guys always do a wonderful job with it, keeping it stocked, keeping it vibrant and alive.
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted you guys to be able to hit on some of the other items you guys have because the books
Yeah.
are a huge success,
Yes.
and as are your trinket trays.
Yeah.
But you do so much
We
more. So I
do.
want to make sure everyone gets to hear about all the
Sure.
things you do because
Yeah.
you are very talented.
Thank you. I'll just do a quick little rundown. And, we dove into these, but I think it started with art and it comes back to art. So
Uh-huh.
my art prints are still there.
Mhm.
We've got watercolor art prints. I have stickers available for just a quick little item.
Why don't
The
you talk
stickers.
about how we do the art prints in house and
Oh, yeah,
um,
everything is in house.
yeah,
Yep,
we
we
make
do
those
everything
our
ourselves.
health.
Yep.
And the cool thing, my favorite thing with the prints is they're actually printed on watercolor paper.
That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
cool.
So the
Um,
texture
And
remains.
it just adds a nice little touch to it.
Yeah.
I think it's
What's
just
the
kinda
difference?
special.
I'm
Like
not,
rather than a smooth, like printed cardstock, which
Yeah.
also can look beautiful,
is it like a linen feel or something?
it
Yeah.
has that same
Like a-
sort of texture
like
to it.
money.
It-
That type
I
Similar.
feel like a little thicker
A little bit
than
more
that.
of a thicker piece.
And
Yeah.
it's more absorbent too, which I think actually affects the print just a little bit. It looks a little bit different than if it was just on a plain.
That's a good point.
like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
piece of
captures
paper.
what it looked like in its original form much
Okay.
better
Yeah.
than when just kind of smoothed out those colors.
I just
That's
think it's very
cool.
Yeah.
cool.
So those are kind of where it all started. I have stickers, I have greeting cards. All of that has my own unique or original designs and art on them. We have drinkware. That was our biggest seller for the first few years.
Yeah.
Which includes different decorative elements around the glassware. Again, we keep with our brand, so there are so many designs out there that we would love to do, but we reel it in. It's either floral patterns or book related kind of imagery or slogans or whatever, and then some seasonal aspects to holiday celebrations and stuff like that, because that's kind of where we started. We just wanted to make things that looked pretty and felt good and made you happy buying it and giving
Yeah.
it to somebody else or buying it for yourself. Like, it all comes back to that for
Yep.
me. But yeah, I mean, we have keychains, we've had pins in the past. With the books, we try to do some special things. Right now, we've got children's mystery sets out there to help
Oh.
with reading engagement during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Oh, so
teacher,
this is
that's
almost a
super.
set.
Popular.
Yeah, so there's 2
Yeah.
books in it, and rather than just themes, we also have suggested
That's
ages.
a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was important for me as a teacher to figure out a way to bring in something that I know engages readers, but also engage our littlest readers, our youngest readers,
Yeah.
Especially over the summer.
It's almost like an unboxing, plus
Yeah.
you get a gift on
Right.
top
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
Right.
And like
Kids-
they're
kids are
watching
all
all that
about the
stuff.
un-
Yeah,
unboxing, yeah,
they're watching all
exactly.
that.
So do you guys have a TikTok page or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. So we have
was gonna say,
TikTok,
do you-
Instagram,
you, don't-
Facebook.
you must make something on TikTok, because if I saw that on TikTok,
Stay tuned.
Oh,
The
okay.
online,
I
I'm
was gonna
telling
say.
you, the online stuff is hard. I'm
It's
getting there.
It's a testament
We're
of
playing
actually
with it.
how much work goes
Yeah.
into even just something so small.
oh no,
Yeah.
I
That-
totally agree
that
with
needs to
you.
get totally. I kind of
Yeah.
Marketing, yeah,
stay off a little.
I
bit
don't
of
like
some of that
marketing,
stuff.
but
It's rough out there. I think it's I know. Help. But no, I mean, it's fun to make content. I think the part that we're really trying to work on right now is consistency. You know, being creative. We're really trying to build up our I don't know, library of images and video
Yeah.
Yeah, like
clips.
your
We've been really
content.
exploring
Yeah.
different ways of filming during shows and markets in our
Mm.
setup.
okay, I see.
And just to kind of build a bank, because there's so much like trying to learn the algorithms and,
And it's
some-
always changing.
it's always
Yes.
changing.
It's so frustrating.
It's
'cause
like,
it's always
post certain
changing.
times
Well,
of
yeah,
day. I'm like,
the
yeah.
reason why they do that a lot of times is because they try to make it fair for other people, because then you
Yeah.
have people dominating markets because of the
That's- yeah.
Which I'll take
algorithm.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, that,
So it's tough for newcomers though, because they have to figure out, okay, what's going on now?
Right,
How do I
right.
even, what keywords do I put in, or
for sure.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. So no, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook as Daydream Made. And we're growing that space. I think, you know, going into holiday season and busy market season, our books and some of our laser engraved cutting boards, which I didn't even somehow mention,
Yes.
are going to be available at the Big E in partnership with
That's
the
very
Bristol
cool.
Bazaar.
and what's the date of that for everyone that's listening right now?
September 12th through I think it's through the
28th?
28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all 17 days, you guys
All
can
It's
find
gonna be
them there.
really
Yeah.
exciting.
We're
Yes.
so
So cool.
excited for the opportunity. So, and to be among just like really high quality other products by makers is going to be awesome. So.
Okay, if you had to tell our listeners one thing, working as a couple, what would you tell them?
I think be patient
Yeah, that's true.
and celebrate what you don't know, but what the other person does. And
that's-
I
That's
think
really good.
Because what I was
Yeah.
going to say
Tell my
is
wife that.
just to is to be trustful, because I will say, you know, sometimes there's value in kind of just being the level-headed, or just to
Oh,
ask
yeah.
the tough questions.
Yeah,
like, that's
sure.
important too. But I mean, even some of the product examples, and even kind of sometimes the premise of this is kind of like, you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah.
But no, I have to trust my wife, and especially, you know, I agree that, you know, our customer is someone who walks in the same realm as my wife, and you know,
Right.
I trust
Yeah.
that she knows what that is. So it's not always easy. But.
And she's trusting you with the data part
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
and the 3D printing. That's
And
me.
even how to, and you know, what to invest our money in, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
what things are good to, you know, outsource versus do ourselves. And
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
I think that's
What's
kinda how
working
we
and
go
what's
about-
not working and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
oh, that's
Definitely.
great.
I think
For sure.
so.
Awesome.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on with
Thank
us,
you for
guys.
having
I
us.
appreciate
Really
it.
great.
This was it's really cool to talk to other entrepreneurs who are also data focused, but also
Yeah.
talking about your brand and working together as husband and wife while you have full-time jobs. Like, it's just like this layered effect with you
That's
guys.
what I don't
that-
Well,
get.
it's
They
good
have
to talk about
full-time
it.
jobs
It's
and a
amazing.
baby
Yeah.
and a business. That's tough.
And they're crushing it
I
every
know.
day.
And they're
That's
not. Are
awesome.
you guys
Thank
getting
you.
burnt out at all?
We
Honestly.
definitely reach those points. We take some.
Yeah.
We've balanced a schedule. I think that now works for us a little bit better.
Okay.
We slow down January to April.
Okay.
And-
We used to try to just hustle and go to every event that I could find that sounded cool. But the reality was at some point your time becomes valuable, and
Very.
you
You know
know
what you're
you
worth.
know your
Yes.
worth of that time.
Yep.
And while we were grateful for every singular sale, there is a point where you have to say, listen, like this isn't profitable, and
Right.
our time and our sanity is better. And so, yeah, we kind of like, we know when to have slow moments and when to step on the gas and put everything in. And
Yeah.
we're finding balance. Of course, we would love more hours in the day or less hours already fulfilled with other
Right.
obligations. But for right now, it's working, and we'll see what the future
Oh,
holds.
cool. Any closing arguments there, Carol?
No, just my regular thank you to everybody. Thanks for tuning into Small Business Social. A huge thank you to you guys again for being here.
Thank
We
you for
appreciate
having
your
us.
time. We know it is valuable,
Absolutely.
and I know our listeners are going to be so excited with this episode. A special thanks to our sponsors, the Bristol Bazaar and Seymour Media, for supporting us on our show. If you love today's episode, be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We've got some amazing small business owners and experts coming your way. Until next time, keep supporting small and spreading big ideas. Bye.
Well, thank you so
It was a lot-
much.
it was a lot of fun.
We just have to grab our
Fun.
picture with you guys
Oh,
as
yes.
the backdrop
Yes.
before you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then